Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to another Sega Genesis classic. I'm going to let the title speak for itself. I don't think I need to say much more other than just that title screen. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis. This is one of the most important games probably for the entire system, and probably my second favorite Genesis game. Yeah, I'm gonna just say it. If it wasn't for Flashback, this would be my absolute favorite, most nostalgic Genesis game of all time. Also, Seth, don't forget to show you own the game. That's right, I own the same copy that I've owned since before I was actually born. This was one of the first games my parents ever bought for the Genesis when it first came out in 92. Around 92, I think it was when it came out. I don't remember. But this was one of the first games they ever bought was Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. As well as a handful of the games that you guys have seen me play through on here as well. So, you know, I don't really like to get super depressing and sad, but, you know, this is one of the few games that my mom was really into when I was a kid, and I loved to watch her play it. Because my mom didn't really like video games, but she absolutely loved Sonic 1 and 2. So I have a very real and strong connection to this game. So believe me, man, I am not a Sonic fan by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to be quite controversial here and say I think that the first 3 Sonic games are the only ones worth actually playing, because the rest are just garbage, and the series has never quite fully recovered. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I have never seen quite a horrendous fan base than the Sonic one, like, period. And I'm not quite sure why it cannibalized itself and became so god-awful. But, anyways, I haven't even explained the run that I'm doing for this. This is all post-commentary, obviously. It's just a lot easier for me to do these kinds of games with the audio post-commentary. So, yeah. The run type is actually, what I tried to go with is, you know, I really absolutely do not like getting the Chaos Emeralds in this game. It's not fun. I don't really like it in, you know, what's it called? Sonic 1. I think it's really gross. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way it controls. I don't like Sonic 1 as much. So getting him in this game, you gotta get 50 rings and then go into a checkpoint. You can get pretty much all the Chaos Emeralds before Chemical Plant. I've done it before. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure if this actually works in this edition. This is running off the Steam Sega Genesis collection. On the original hardware, what you could do was, if you reset the console without taking the cartridge out, the game would actually remember the amount of Chaos Emeralds you had, and I used to do this a lot too. You could actually do that, and that's how I practiced them when I was a kid. And so every time I failed one, I just reset the console and just did the first level over and over and over. So what I was going for this instead is to try and get as many 1-ups as I possibly could. I wanted to go for at least 1 to 2 each level, and, you know, I played Sonic 2 dozens and dozens and dozens of times. You know, I've been playing this game probably longer than most people watching this have probably been alive, okay? I don't know, YouTube says my average audience is 25 to 30. That's pretty fair. Thank God you're not like 12. I say dicks and shit a lot. But, you know, I've been playing this game since I was an infant. This is probably one of the second games, you know, probably one of, if not the first games I ever remember playing as a kid. Obviously I was very young. I couldn't finish this game at all. The other one being Mortal Kombat 2 on the Genesis as well. Now, like I said, I'm not a Sonic fan. I'm not really a Mario fan either, to be frank with you, and oh man. This game is just too good. I mean, I'm not a Sonic fan, but this game's fucking awesome. If this was the only Sonic game that ever came out, that'd be amazing. But, you know, this is, without a doubt, you know, I was saying it a couple of videos ago, it's an important game. It's a surprise, you know? Sonic 2 is one of those games for me that's so important, because, like I've said before, when I was a kid, I didn't have very many games. And the few games I had, I played the ever-loving shit out of them. And I either beat them, or I got really lucky and beat them, or I just suffered until I eventually gave up. I never finished Sonic 2 as an adolescent. I think I didn't finish it until I was probably like 13 or 14, probably. And then I've been playing it ever since, you know. I would not say I'm good at Sonic 2 by any stretch. You can probably watch the whole game I'm playing here and go, I think you did pretty good, Seth, for the whole run. I've done better. I mean, you know, this is the amount of insanity that I went into with this LP, was I would reset if I didn't get a 1-up every single level. And I actually finished the game 3 times recorded. This was the 3rd time, and I was like, this is the best run I did. I'm gonna go with it. Now, there's a couple mechanics, by the way, that I'm doing. I'm going for the ring bonus and time bonus. If you get, I think it's 10 grand in terms of points, you get a continue. This game, by the way, it looks really easy right about now. You're probably like, this game doesn't look that hard. And on the whole, Sonic 2 and Sonic 1 by that extension, they really, I mean, the Sonic games aren't very hard. I played the first 3, and let's see. So before we get into it, what Sonic games have I played? I've played Sonic 1, 2, 3, I guess you can say and Knuckles as well, technically. Sonic Advance 1 and 2. And I've also played Generations and Colors with a friend. But I am not a Sonic fan. I've unironically loved to watch Sonic fans because they're just the greatest thing to watch hate itself. The only self-respecting Sonic fan I actually really like is Juan Ortiz, or some call me Johnny. He's probably the only level-headed Sonic fan on the planet, and I respect him a lot. He's one of the greatest YouTubers ever. But, you know, I'm just going to say it. I think Sonic 1 through 3 was the only time the series is ever good. I watched the shit out of the cartoon. It wasn't very good. What do I remember about it? I remember chili dogs. I remember Grounder was green, and there was a chicken, and they screamed everything they said, and snooping as usual, I see. And, you know, I don't even need to explain this. You know, this purple shit right here, it gave me nightmares. The sound that it made when it, like, counts down the death thing. Yeah, dude, this game is... If you're like, oh, is it really scary? Yeah, dude, when you're, like, 2 or 3 years old and you play a game like this shit's nerve-wracking. But... yeah, I watched a lot of the That's No Good Sonic cartoon. It was on a lot when I was a kid. I don't even remember what channel it was on. But I did watch a lot of that, and I didn't really like it. I just watched it. And by the way, this is a really easy way to finish Robotnik off, is you just bounce 8 times. You gotta be really careful with that shit, by the way, because if you're not careful, you can dunk yourself really easy. That's actually pretty hard to get a hang of. You have to do it very specifically. But yeah, I watched the cartoon. I think I saw 5 seconds of the really edgy underground one, where it's like, I'm Dr. Claw Robotnik. And I was like, this is stupid. And I just stopped liking Sonic at that point, and my god, let's listen to this next music track. Oh man, I love this game. You know, like I said, I am not a Sonic fan. This game, though, is just so fucking good. And I think 90% of it has to honestly do with the visuals and the music. When I was a kid, I had never heard music this good in the game. I still, to this day, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone here, I can't think of any Genesis game that sounds as good as Sonic 2. And 3, for that matter. And 1 is still really good, but... God, I love this music. It is just so fucking good. And, you know, I'm not good at Aquatic Ruin. I go through the entire run, by the way, not touching the water at all. And I want to point this out. What do I think about the series at this point? I think this is where Sonic was still actually a platforming game and not just hold the button down and run into, you know, bullshit late game with really bad AI. Sonic 2 starts off deceptively simple, and then it just beats the shit out of you by the end of it. I don't know why I was so fascinated on trying to get up there. I've never been good at getting all the rings in the top route here, but something that this game does really well is it teaches you that you should definitely stay above. Sonic games are one of the few I can think of that actually encourages players to stay on the top, because this is the format, and by the way, you have no idea how long it took me to figure this shit out as a kid, that you can just jump in the foreground like that. You know, I'm just doing stuff that I've been doing muscle memory for over almost 30 years, so it's not fair. So, this is probably the best rings I've ever gotten in this stage in a long time, too. But Sonic games generally in the old era, like the first 3, they generally make it where if you stay along the top, you'll encounter a little bit more hazard, yeah, but if you keep your momentum and your flow going just right, you'll end up, you know, with a higher ring count. Usually you'll clear the level quicker, and sometimes there's different, like, ending areas, too. So, it is usually beneficial, and then the bottom route starts to punish you. That's actually what Aquatic Ruins is designed to do. The bottom layer of this zone is actually really dangerous. There's water bubbles that you can pop to get air, but you do not want to be underwater in this game. You control much more slower, you barely have any control, and it's just terrible. So, but when I was a kid, you know, everyone I knew had a SNES, and I had a Genesis, and I didn't know that, you know, Sonic was only on the Genesis, so I just kind of grew up being the fucking weird Sega mutant in school, and that was fine by me, man. I was more than happy with that, but I never got to experience the Mario games. I only had the first 2 Sonic games as a kid, and yeah, by the way, Sonic 2 is probably one of the most batshit games in terms of enemy placement, and believe me, it gets worse before it gets better. I apologize, too, for my voice lately. I've been recovering from that proto cold. It's really kicked my ass. My ribs actually hurt too right now too from coughing. Not because I'm sick, it's because there's a lot of pollen and crap out right now. It's spring, give me a break. I'm inside playing fucking Sonic 2. What are you doing with your day? Doing Varlamore and RuneScape, fucking nerd. What are you doing? Truth be told, I just got off work and home a little bit ago. But, well, it's 8 o'clock, you know what I mean? I've been off work since, like, 5, so whatever, give me a break. But no, I really do think Sonic has a little bit, like, unique gameplay for a platformer. It's very momentum-based. That's the only way I can really describe how these games control. They're really not as fast as the marketing gimmick was, you know, like... You know, when the Sega came out, it was like, look at our blast processing, man. Look how fast the games go. Which, if you don't know, the Genesis does have a faster processor than the SNES, but that doesn't really mean much. Technically, it just means games can run smoother and faster than a SNES. That's about it. But very few games actually took advantage of that, but Sonic was really the series that took it off. And why am I more familiar with Sonic 2 than 1, you might ask? Well, like I said, I don't like to talk about my mom, but she actually killed our Sonic 1 cartridge by playing it so much on her first Genesis when I was in her, you know, belly when I was a baby, like little man, that, because, you know, what else did you do in, like, 1994? Like, you didn't just go on Twitter, like, and do whatever. No, you sat on bed in the 100 billion degree heat and played Sonic the Hedgehog with a baby inside you, right? So, we had the cartridge, but the cartridge was actually fucked up, and the pins were messed up, so the game would load, but it wouldn't load properly. You know, blowing in it didn't do anything. So, Sonic 2 was the one game I actually played the most. I don't actually have our Sonic 1 cart anymore, because my mom was like, ah, just throw it away. So, I don't actually have that anymore, unfortunately. But, no, I I played this game so religiously, and like I said, I don't really have very good memories of my mom, and so this game was like the game she'd play constantly. So every level just kind of reminds me of like my mom, in a good way, you know? It's a bittersweet kind of thing. And I did watch her beat it when I was a kid, and she did the exact same thing I did right now, actually. I chose to play as Sonic alone, because she also realized Tails is a piece of garbage. But yeah, Casino Night Zone. This is actually a kind of reimagining of, I think it's Spring Yard Zone from Sonic 1. Forgive me, it's been a while since I played Sonic 1 Vanilla. And this is obviously just vanilla Sonic 2. No onion ring Sonic mode, no fucking crazy hacks and nonsense, you know, no bullshit original Sonichu do not steal Pokemon shit. No, this is just straight off, you know, the cart Sonic 2. And, you know, I may love Sonic 2 to death, but, the endgame's kind of shit, and, I've played this game long enough to know exactly where everything's at, so I have a little bit of a home field advantage here. But man, if you're playing this game the first time, you're gonna get fucked, and you're probably like, this doesn't look so hard. Yeah, it's not very hard. But I also know exactly where to stand in every single boss fight. I know exactly how to, like, maneuver myself. I know exactly what's gonna kill me. I know where all the traps are. I know where all the enemies are at. It's in the bag, and I especially know how to finish the final level. That's the other important thing. So, when I was a kid, this game beat the shit out of me. And one of the many reasons I'm stocking up on lives is to show you what it was like for me as a kid, too. Because when I was a kid, dude, I dreaded the end of this game. The furthest I'd ever get was Metropolis Zone, and I just bite the bullet. I think I got to, like, Death Egg once when I was a really little kid, and I died in, like, 5 seconds, and we'll get to that later. But, so those of you probably wondering if you've actually played the game, does Seth know about the cool Casino Night Zone super secret thing? Yeah, of course I do. As an avid past James and Mike Mondays watcher, look at that. It's unfinished business. It's like, what is it? Yeah, so I didn't know about it when I was a kid, which is kind of a damn shame. But it took me years to figure it out. And thankfully, the internet existed. It was one of the first things I looked up. So to get the super cool, super dope secret, I completely screw this up. This is actually very dependent on your momentum. You need to make sure you're in the very corner of these flippers. You gotta do your, what is it called? Orbital shots, I'm pretty sure. Sorry, that's not what it's called in pinball. But yeah, obviously the other gimmick of this level, and this is actually why when I was a kid, I started to love gambling. Start 'em young, man. I'm really skeptical of gambling in this game because it's never ended well for me. But yeah, you can gamble in these levels. It's kind of cool. I like it. When I was a kid, it was like, oh wow, cool. And then I died, and it made me really scared. You can get Robotnik symbols and die. And if you're like, it's actually pronounced Eggman, well, motherfucker, the manual said Dr. Ivan Robotnik, okay? So deal with it. That's what he was called in the TV show as well. Okay, make your peace. So this is how you get the super cool, ultra rad secret. Yeah, look at that shit. So if you get 100 grand, you also get a 1-up. Which, if you're gonna go in this game the first time you ever play it, just go for points, go for rings, don't worry about time. And by the way, those fucking giant blue Cheez-Its have killed me more times in this game than anything else. I'm not even exaggerating. But nah, this game is just so fucking nostalgic, but it is extremely brutal. And there's a big problem with that, and I've seen a couple YouTube channels point it out. Sorry I can't remember the names, it's been ages, but the problem with Sonic 1 through 3, and it's a huge problem, especially if you're brand new, notice where Sonic's positioned in the screen? That's like dead center. And notice how a lot of the enemies just kind of blindside you most of the time, and that gets worse before it gets better. Enemy placement is probably the most sadistic in the series in this one, I think. I was like, oh no, Jesus, don't. So, Yeah. I could do that all day. That's the worst part. But yeah, you know, the biggest problem with this game is the enemies. There's so many enemies. There's like the slicers or like the little grasshopper bastards at the end of the game. That is the worst. That is the worst stuff in the game, in my opinion. Metropolis Zone, it's pretty yucky. I cannot believe I whiffed this too. I felt so stupid. But yeah, man, there's... The end of the game is just absolutely unbelievable. And you know, what makes this game so interesting to me is there's no save feature. There wasn't a save feature until Sonic 3. You either beat the game in one sitting, or you paused it and came back to it like whenever, and then hopefully still had that same momentum going, and then you did it. So, you did it all in one go. The game, as you can see, is only about an hour long, which... That's fine. I mean, it's a Genesis game. They weren't really huge, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I'd get really far into it and then I'd fuck it up and lose every time. And this is one of my favorite things I figured out as a kid. Yeah, you can moonwalk if you do that. It's a really weird little glitch I found out a long time ago. And before you ask, have I played Sonic Spinball? Yeah, I don't really like it. I've played a lot of real pinball in my life. I'm talking Space Cadet, you know, of course, for sure. But I played a lot of real pinball, like Frankenstein pinball. That's a fucking awesome table, by the way. One of my dreams in life is to make enough money to buy an Elvira, House of Horrors pinball machine. You know, I love pinball in real life. This game was pretty much responsible for that as well, because... You know, before 3D Space Cadet Pinball by Maxis, which I've also played the full version, which also has Skullduggery and Chivalry, I think is what it's called. That's a prayer in RuneScape. No, I think it's just called Dragon Strike or something. I don't remember. That's also a different thing. That's a VHS board game thing. But, anywho. Yeah. Oh, by the way... Did you know the Hilltop Zone is just Green Emerald Hill Zone? See, I said it, therefore you don't have to say it for me. I'm not that stupid. This level used to scare me to death, by the way, because when I was a kid, I saw the movie, I think it's Dante's Inferno, or it's Dante's Peak or something like that. And I was terrified of volcanoes for a very good chunk of my life. And I also live next to, like, eyesight of Mount Hood. So, trust me, man, I had, like, nightmares because of this game a lot. And it took me a lot of years to figure out how to get in this top route, and I'm still not very good at it, because I completely forget about doing it, because, you see, that's the thing, is you're not supposed to go that fast there. If you do, you'll just overshoot it. And like I said, this isn't a hard game. I gotta sneeze, hang on a second. Good lord. Yeah, man, allergies are brutal right now. But no, I never did that top route as a kid. Because, like I said, I'd only have so long to play this game. And I didn't have... You know, there is a time limit. I think it's like 12 minutes per each level or something like that. And you don't have 200 years to go looking around. But one of the biggest problems in, you know, these first 3 Sonic games is the camera. I will say that, though, for a fact. The ending of the game is absolutely merciless and requires perfect memorization of it. That's why you'll notice that I've done a lot of really specific tricks. A lot of those I figured out as a kid, a lot of them later on in life, by other Let's Players or, you know... I think the first time I ever used a speedrun to do something was for Sonic 2, because I was like, how the fuck do I do this? And I looked it up, and yeah, you can tell I'm a fucking pro, because I know if you spin dash there, you'll fall straight through that and just end the level. I'm a fucking pro at this game, alright? I'm a pro at a game from 1992 that was probably marketed mainly towards adolescents, but you know what? I'm better than you. That's all that matters. So, I'm very familiar with the overall formula of Sonic, though, you know, but not the newer ones. I don't touch that shit with a 10-foot pole. My dad actually, I think recently, like in the last 2 years, bought Sonic and the Black Knight, And he calls me, he's like, we were just talking, he goes, do you ever play the Sonic game still? And I'm like, yeah, I love the first 3. And he's like, no, I mean like the new ones. I'm like, yeah, we don't talk about those aren't real. And he goes, I bought this one called like Sonic and the Black Knight. I don't know what the fuck's going on in that game. And I'm like, I'm sorry you had to see that, Dad. Because my dad actually did like these games a lot too. I have a lot of fond memories of my dad and my mom playing this, because the co-op didn't exist. There is co-op in this game. You can have someone play as Tails or Sonic, whatever, and you can kind of co-op the levels together, but it's very difficult to do. But they did play a lot of the versus mode, and I did play a lot of versus mode with a few friends too. That's probably one of the coolest aspects of this game, is the 2-player mode like that, because they're shorthanded versions of like I think all the main stages actually, except a handful. And you basically just race each other and have time and score. It's really quite cool. I like it. And it has different music as well. You know, this is just what I call I wouldn't say perfect game, but damn near perfect game. And if it wasn't for Flashback, this would be my absolute favorite Genesis game of all time. I mean, PGA European Tour comes pretty high up there too. Let's not beat around the bush about it, okay? But this undoubtedly, mechanically, is my favorite. Flashback's my favorite in terms of like how it's designed. But you know, this I think I died here. I'm not really quite sure. I think I died here because I screwed up the timing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you see, I screwed up right there, and you're not supposed to do that, and I thought I could cheese it a little bit, but doesn't really happen. That's, by the way, the only death I have. I think all the way up until, like, Metropolis 3, which is totally understandable if you play this game. So that one was kind of a screw-up on my fault. I'm not gonna be like, oh, the fucking game was bad. No, I bounced in a really weird way. So it's kind of my fault, but I recover pretty quickly here. But yeah, this whole game is just... It's just nostalgia, man. Every single little thing about it, whether it be the color palette, the music, the enemy design, you name it, I love it. It's just... I don't know, man. There's something about this specific game in the series as well that I can't help it. It's just really, really cool. You can't beat Mystic Cave, by the way. And everyone says the same thing. Okay. Oh, this level's bullshit because it has the fucking hole. Okay, get over it. No one cares. That's not that hard. Once you know it's there, you never worry about it ever again. This has got to be the slappinest fucking tune in all of the Sega Genesis, by the way. Like, oh my god, I could listen to this all day. And I used to love hearing the start of this track when I was a kid. I get so excited. You know, I'd be like, oh, it's the cool song! And sometimes I'd pick up one of our cats that we used to have, and then like, be like, come here. I'd pause the game right before that, pick him up, and then I'd just, when it starts, I do dun da 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 da, and then I'd like shake the cat a little bit to the song, and they just look at me like, why the fuck are you doing this to me? But yeah, dude, this is actually my favorite zone in the entire game. You could argue it's because of the music, and you're not wrong. It's because I think it has the most solid platforming in the game. It has leaps of faith, it has a lot of ring count, which really is satisfying to get a good high ring score in this level. It's got weird, like, the boxes, you can get killed by those, by the way, and it scared me as a kid. It's got memorable bullshit like the, you know, the pit, which I do know the Taxman and Stealth games, by the way, that came out on iOS. I know that they fixed it. They did actually have a scrapped level set in there. So that was actually another thing, too, is this game has a really crazy development history. It was basically developed by both American and Japanese developers, if I'm not mistaken, and they had totally different design philosophies involved in it. And, like, it was supposed to have 3 zones per act, like the original, but 3 acts per zone, but somehow down the line that kind of got scrapped to 2, which I think actually makes the game a lot more brisk. And you know, there's a lot of development history you can look up on Sonic 2 if you're really interested in it. Look up Some Call Me Johnny's video. He does a really good job at it. I think Kim Justice has a really good video as well. But yeah, man, the Taxman Stealth iOS version, as far as I'm aware, hasn't came to Steam or anything. But if I remember correctly, they fixed the half-pipe, like, Chaos Emerald thing, so I didn't show it off in this, but it's actually a 3D pre-rendered, like, video that plays, and, you know, I'm just gonna say it. For the time, it was fucking impressive. It was really good looking for a Sega game. And, you know, it came on a cartridge. This shit's insane that it actually was on a cartridge. It still blows my mind a tiny bit. I'm just gonna be real here. But yeah, it was like, you basically go down this pre-rendered thing, but in the Taxman and Stealth version, you actually can, like, zoom the camera back, which is great. You can actually see a lot better. I think they have Sonic 1 as well on there too. I'm not sure if it's on iOS anymore. I don't actually have a single thing on my phone because I don't play games except old school on my phone because, you know, no such thing as wasted XP. Well, that's wasted XP right now playing this game, or sorry, watching this game. But another thing you can tell I play this game a lot is because I completely whiffed it on there and I was like, oh, I can do it. That's the thing. I play this game so much I have confidence in, like, everything I'm doing, but you know, the magic of Mystic Cave is there's like 8 bajillion rings, and you're always gonna have at least a handful on you at all times. And yeah, of course, this is why I'm like, okay, the hole. Alright, what's the hole? Those of you unfamiliar. So you see these spike pits, and you see these little, like, monkey rope orange bridges? There it is, right there. That's the hole. Everyone knows about it. If you fall down there, you just die. You'll be in an infinite spike trap. You'll die. Even if you're supersonic, you still die. And people think that's the hardest thing ever? Okay. As far as I was concerned, even as a kid, I knew it existed and I ignored it as best as I could, but I think the hardest thing about this level is those green fucking fist things that come out of the ground. They actually can kill you instantly. And speaking of that, holy shit, I thought I was dead right there, by the way, with those boxes. That was like a frame off from killing me. It was unbelievable. But no joke, I mean, people complain about the pit being the hardest thing ever, but in the Taxman version, if you go down there, there's actually the scrapped, I think it's like secret cave or something? I don't remember what the hell it's called. It was a scrapped level concept, but they remade it. If you ever go in with like some data mining tools, you can actually see a lot of the levels and play them. There's also fan hacks that have a lot of the levels as well. I don't remember. There was like 3 or something other entire like zones that were actually designed, but they just never got implemented. See, those things right there, those will actually kill you regardless of if you got a shield or not. So, but yeah, this game though, you know, the other thing too I really like about this game in particular is the parallax scrolling. There is so much fucking detail in like the background. You guys have probably noticed it by now, but you can see like the little lumps and bumps in the background of the other tracks in the background. There's the little layers, the purple layering of the cave. There's so much detail in like this game. It's unbelievable. And it looks really good. For a Genesis game, it's very impressive. And it's really smooth. You know, it's just, this is such a solid game. And I like Sonic 1, but 2 is just better. I hate to say it. I'm not in like, you know, bad company here saying this. I think it's pretty true. But this is Oil Ocean. This is where the horse shit starts to become pretty apparent. So the gimmick of this level, by the way, is you gotta stay above the Oil Ocean. You know, I've always thought, why did they call it Oil Ocean as a kid and it has Arabic themes? Because I was very young. They were simpler times, weren't they? But yeah, this is a level that I got fucking slaughtered on as a kid. And it's also because these fucking little... These aren't the problem. The problem is the seahorse enemies in this level. I don't remember how many rings I end this level with. I think I get a 1-up in the level, but... God damn, this is one of the most aggravating parts of the game that you have to just play it over and fucking over to figure out where everything's at. Because if you don't, it's actually surprisingly easy if you take the top route. There's just a lot more enemies and hazards. Because if you go down the bottom, you can actually fall in the oil, and you have to spam jump your way out of it, and there's like really noodly platforms, and it just ain't fun. So you see those little tiny little black pellets. You can barely see them, judging from where you're at in the middle of the screen the entire game, and then like those things just creep up on you. And they can shoot you twice too. I haven't mentioned this yet. Those fucking seahorses are the worst thing in the game. And you can tell how nervous I get right here, because I'm like, Jesus, I almost have a 1-up. I don't want to get shot. So I'm just like, I'll take the safe way out. I've screwed up these jumps a lot. You can also get crushed by those lids as well, and it's very irritating. But this is probably where the game starts to get absolutely brutal. So this part right here you can screw up very easy. You just want to go in with a little bit of momentum and hold back. And you can get up there pretty easy. See, right there. There's like no... You can react to it, and then it just hits you again. You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is where the game starts to become... You just either know it's there or you don't, and it's really annoying. Plot twist, if you actually hold your jump there and you jump on like an enemy or the monitor there, you could actually hop really high in the air. I don't know why I screwed it up, but it's quite cool. You can really break the game. You're not supposed to do that. But I don't remember how far you can go with it. There's also some glitch you can do in this level set, but I don't remember how to do it. I think that might be the one I'm thinking of, but it don't matter. And I think I'm not like alone here, but I used to think those big rings were the big rings from Sonic 1 at the end of the level, when you get 50 and you go to the end. But oh man, I thought I was gonna get hit right there too. Holy shit. Those... I don't care how good you say you are at this game, I do not believe you can go through this level without getting hit. I think it's just programming-wise, it's designed to be that annoying. And that's fine, you know. It's kind of like... The Sonic 1 starts off like, lol, it's Emerald Hill, it's really easy. Or sorry, it's Green Hill Zone, it's really fun, really easy, ha ha ha. And then you get straight to Marble Zone, and you go, fuck this. And then, like, the game kicks your ass. And yeah, I'm not stupid. I know Marble Zone was supposed to be the first, but I don't know, man. The difficulty curve in Sonic 2 is a lot fairer. And see, look at that. This is what I'm talking about. Enemies in Sonic 2 are just ruthless. It's not the level design that's gonna kill you, it's the fucking enemies. And I don't know how they designed it. Like, they just said, you know what, let's think of the most convoluted, irritating things in the world and just shove them into levels at this point. Because it's true. So, the whole problem I have at this point in the game is you cannot use speed. I mean, yeah, of course if you know what you're doing, but you know, you cannot just go willy-nilly fast. So like right here, if you just jump off like that without cycling those things, you'll run right into those spikes. I've done it literally dozens and dozens of times, and look at that, you still get hit by shit. And they still can shoot you and then float around. It's really... Oh, it's just yucky. It starts to kind of like really sour my taste playing the game at this point, because look at this! I don't even know how many times I get hit in this entire level. I don't even think I get a 1-up. I'm pretty sure I don't. But truthfully, I don't know who put the enemies in this level. I'm sure I could look at the credits and figure it out myself, but my god. But when I was a kid, these levels, they felt like they took forever. And look at that. See what I'm talking about? If you have a bunch of momentum, the game just keeps basically infinitely scaling it after you do one, like a jump from one. So it's really quite cool how you can do that. You can get away with some pretty nasty shit. It's not like in the later games in the series. I think 3 lets you do it, where you can get actual, like, Mario-esque momentum when you jump off of enemies, but it's never really been an exact science. By the way, if you go all the way right, it doesn't matter. You're never going to get to the top. You can jump up the oil slids, or sorry, slides. I was like, what the fuck is the slippery slide? I don't know. You can jump up that, but you can't, like, get down. If you try to go, sorry, you can go up, but you can never go all the way to the top. I'm sure there's some weird way, like these things right here, see? You can jump up those, but you'll just always slide. It's really, really annoying. And I was kind of nervous here because I actually struggle with this boss fight to this day. Sometimes I can kill him in like one cycle, like where he has 7 hits right there, and then he has 1 more, and then it's done. But this always makes me so fucking nervous. And when I was a kid, I used to think it was a hairdryer. I couldn't tell you why. I really couldn't, but the best strategy I have is just jump around, jump up, and get down. That's the honest to God best solution to dealing with it. So, yeah, like I said, this thing would be the end of the game for me. For so many goddamn years, I would see this thing and get killed right there. That would just always kill me as a kid. I could not dodge it for the life of me. So, you can also, I think if you kill Robotnik in a way and then, like, you screw up the sound channel or something, you can screw up the sprites where you'll free open those canisters and they'll spit out fireball sprites. I've had it happen a few times. I'm not going to try and dig out the other stuff, but oh boy. So this is Metropolis Zone. Anybody who's played the game, you know exactly what to expect here. So those are called Asterons, I'm pretty sure. And they suck. There's only 3 enemies in this entire level set, and they're the cuntiest thing ever. There's one of them right there. I think they're called Shellcracker, I'm pretty sure. I used to have the manual for this game, but I lost it ages ago. But obviously I know it by reputation at this point. So Metropolis Zone is the only zone in the game, and yep, that's exactly what I was talking about. This is the enemy placement we all know and love if we played this game before. So there's 3 levels in this zone, and slicers, by the way, I don't have any advice. And yeah, by the way, these nuts right here, you can actually rotate them onto yourself and die. I've done it like too many damn times, because you might be like, oh, it doesn't look that hard to do. There's, you know what I mean, it doesn't look that easy. And then like you do it and you realize, okay, Seth wasn't lying. It's actually really easy to do because you have very little control when you first hit one for like those first few frames. And oh my god. So what makes this level hard? Have you noticed a theme yet? It's mainly the enemies. So the starfish things, they explode. That's already a huge problem. There's spike pits everywhere. You can crush yourself on these screws. You can fall off of shit into lava. You can get spiked off of things constantly. You can get crushed by stage hazards. There is just so many things in this level set. And yeah, I know exactly how to deal with all this stuff because I played it for almost 30 years. So, a little bit of an advantage. But, you know, I always screw this part up too. I always think there's a 1-up right here and it's not till the next level. But, yeah, I know what to expect when expecting, okay? This game is just a rectal exam. It really is. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. But I absolutely hate the game at this point. In my mind, this is where the game stops being fun and starts being just Agony City, USA. Because I've died so many times here as a kid, as an adult. It doesn't matter. I don't think I've ever ended a single Metropolis Zone level with, like, more than, like, 40 rings. I don't think I've ever had it happen. These levels are also very long, too. They're probably the longest in the whole game. And there's also 3 zones, so by proxy it ends up being the longest zone in the game. And you know what's really bullshit? I still don't know how the boss fight works in this level. I really don't. It's beyond me. But, you know, there's shit like that. You see, I know roughly, after all these years, how to deal with slicers, but that does not mean I ever feel like I'm correct, if that makes any sense. And this part right here can actually loop if you're not careful. I'm pretty sure if you let it go too long, you just die and, like, fall down a hole. But, I think this is the only time I've ever gotten over 100 rings in this entire godforsaken hellhole of the level. And that's it. You know, that's all I'm going to get for the entire zone, pretty much. So, believe me, this is just not a fun level set. It takes a lot of memorization to do it, and it takes a lot of practice. And you're probably like, oh, well, you got 20 lives, it's no big deal. When you're learning this game, you're gonna burn through all those in like 5 minutes. It's no joke. This is absolutely the game on full fucking cylinders. It's absolutely not playing around anymore. Which is kind of unfortunate because, I don't know, man, I really don't think this is a fair challenge. Like, there's just so many, like, stage hazards at this point in the game where it's just like, this isn't fun challenge. I don't understand the hitbox on those things either, by the way. I kill them, like, maybe 3/4 of the time. I don't really think I know how to do it. The slicers, though, are the most dangerous thing in this entire, like, level set. They can home in on you, and that is what makes them really dangerous. If you walk away from them and off-screen them, you can actually cause their, like, you know, limbs not to grow back. And that's what you gotta do half the time. Like, you bait them out and then you walk away. So this is actually a pretty cool one-up. This is a real, well, I think it's a one-up in here or something, but this is a good secret because it actually skips a lot of the level. And that's the other problem is, I don't actually know, like, these, like, 3 levels very well. Because there's that damn beater car. I'm always talking about it. Like, you know, all these levels, I've only gone certain routes. I'm sure there's easier ones. There's one in, like, level 3 where it's just gross. I don't like it at all. Like, you have to do those little, like, spike box things, and I just don't like it. So you're probably like, Seth, there's a better way to do this, you know. And I'm going to take your word for it, but I like my idea better. And still, look at that. You see those things track you, and then you got to go all the way back over there, and all the way through the fucking, you know, the dryer, you know, basket thing, and all the way back, and then you got to reset the nut, and then you got to go all the way back over here. And guess what? This jackass regrew his hand somehow. I don't know how he did it. I don't care. You know, I like praying mantises in real life. They're pretty rad, but not in this game. Fuck them. They're the absolute worst enemy in the entire series as far as I'm aware. It just takes baiting them out to kill them. Like, you can see right there, that's the strategy, but I played this game for 30 years. I know exactly where every single one of them is out of just sheer frustration and anger. You know, I'm sure someone could be like, well, I fucking did it when I was a kid. What was your problem? No, you didn't. Don't fucking lie. You have a tiny cock. You're lying. I don't believe you. This game, you never finished this as a kid. Don't even lie. You just didn't. Okay, you probably had your cool rad parents do it, or your cool older brother who drove a motorcycle and smoked cocaine. You know, you probably had them do it. Well, you don't really smoke cocaine, but whatever. And yeah, you can just tell for sure. I'm like, nope, not going anywhere without that damn shield. Sonic 3 adds shields, but yeah, look at that. See, like, the enemies at this point are just directly in front of you. And even if I know it's there, the amount of reaction time you need to do it, no way. I just can't do it. And I recorded this, like, first thing in the morning. If you guys actually saw the room in the background I have set up for the emulator, that's actually set up to my real computer clock. So I did do this at, like, 9 in the morning after I got up on, like, my weekend. So, like, that was the first thing I did. I simulated exactly what I would have done in, like, school. No joke. I still cannot believe I ended these levels with these good of numbers. I cannot believe it. So, this is the hardest level in the game. And you know it's the hardest level in the game because it's one of those fucking cunts is right there in the beginning of it. And right down here to make sure if you get hit once, you're not getting your rings. If you miss it again, you're getting hit again. This entire level is just this, okay? It's just Agony City. That's what they should have called this, okay? You're gonna be in Agony City Zone, okay? Put that in your new fucking Sonic hacking contest and smoke it, man. That's exactly what it is. So, this level here, by the way, I'm just gonna say it. I think I get killed a few times. I don't remember how many. I think once. This is the hardest level in the game. There's no denying it. Okay, some people can say that Death Egg is hard. Some people can say that, you know, it's a Kaiser blade. Some people call it that. I call it a, you know, switchblade. That's fine. But, you know, I call it a Kaiser blade. So, no, this is the hardest level in the game. You can't convince me that anything is harder. It requires perfect, like, control. You need to know all the mechanics. You need to know exactly where every enemy's at. You need to know just everything. I can see where people say Wing Fortress is harder, but that's if you're a scrub, okay? I'm going to show you how to beat Wing Fortress like a man, and you'll be drowning in puss by the end of it. So, you'll thank me later, trust me. Because, my god, you will hemorrhage lives like crazy if you don't. And if you've played the game, you probably already know what I'm going to do. But this level, though, I just hate it. I hated it as a kid. I hate it as an adult. I hate it, I fucking hate it. And what makes it really hard for me? You know, it's going to sound really stupid. Even though the level is genuinely frustrating, it's the final, like, quarter of it, where you have to go up all these screws. You'll see what if you've played it, you know exactly what part I'm talking about. And I don't understand the final boss. Like, I just don't. I've played this game forever, and I still don't know how the hell you do it. So, see, I know that's not going to kill me, but I still wince every time I jump up there. Like, this is a good game because it can do that. It actually elicits that, feeling in me a little bit. And, you know, I was getting hit by these things at this point because I was like, dude, I don't fucking care. Like, you get so used to this level of just getting hit constantly over and fucking over that you just get so numb to it by, like, the first, like, 50 times it happens. I guess now that I look at it, this kind of reminds me of, like, Castlevania 2 and, like, sorry, Castlevania 3 and 1. I mean, maybe that was the idea, but I don't know. Look at this. There's 3 of these bastards in this entire area. And by the way, if you spin dash, they'll just hit you right through the floor. You think I'm joking, but if you do it, they're gonna do it. And I haven't even mentioned this yet. The original Sonic 1 doesn't have the spin dash, but Sonic 2 does. I think the iOS game, that one actually has, like, spin dash in it. Kind of breaks the game in my opinion. It's a little cheaty because it wasn't designed with that in mind, but it's fine. I don't think it's that bad. Now this is the... I know I die here for a fucking fact because I got so nervous doing this. So, what do you think, like, young me would have done? I would have panicked and gotten myself ground up in those gears. I'm pretty sure you can do it. But I want you to see this. Just, like... I can't stand this part of the game. It is the most just fucking I'm watching this back and I'm angry, okay? That's not cool. I'm like, great, there's no fucking rings in sight. I'm not going all the way to the end of the level. You know, down there, I'm not dealing with that. I'll just tough it out. It'll be fine. Just... I was hoping I'd get crushed there, but it didn't happen. I hate this level so much. Like I said, just watching this back, it makes me angry. This whole entire level is just nothing but childhood, like, frustration. Now you might be like, just stand on the edge, Seth. If I stand on the edge, he hits me. If I go too far, it hits me. If I get in the wrong angle, he hits me no matter what. He's not gonna move. It's better just to get hit by it and just take the L. That's my honest-to-God opinion right there. Unbelievable. That is the most aggravating part of the whole game. That's harder than the final boss fight. It really is. You think, oh, you're just pulling my leg. No. I don't fucking pull your leg, okay? I say this all the time. I just pull heads off, okay? This is, like, the worst part in the game. And I still think you can get crushed here. I don't know if that's true, but if you can, it wouldn't even shock me. It honestly wouldn't shock me. So, you know, at this point, I just say, screw it. I'm just gonna tank it. And you see what I mean? It's so inconsistent. Like, and I knew there was these guys right here, too. And then there's an Asteron, and then boom, you get hit. And then you have no rings. It's just... It's shit like this that makes this is the part of the game. This is the hardest part right here. Because you have to go all the way up this... Oh my god, if you fall off, you gotta walk all the way back down there. And if you stutter, like with your run right there, it aggroes all those Asterons and they fucking kill you. It's super, super bullshit. So, I can't begin to express how much I hate this. And yeah, by the way, if you haven't guessed by now, there's a fucking slicer at the top left. And I know that too. That's why I'm really, really nervous. And I'm like, I'm gonna aggro all this shit. So I'm amazed they didn't aggro it this whole time. So you know what I did? I'm just gonna take a drink and let you see. Yeah, I off-screened him. I don't care. He did it to himself. It wasn't my fault. Can you really blame me, though? And yeah, if you run too fast, you'll run off of this and die. I've done that a lot as a kid. Now, this is the part where everyone goes, oh, obviously this is really easy, you're just stupid. I don't know how you hit this fucking thing without taking damage, okay? Do you want to know how you do it? This is how you do it. You get hit, iframe, pick up your ring. Get hit, iframe, pick up a ring, do it until... This is the point where he has like 4 of these ball things. It's fine. Like, once he's down to 4, you can consistently do it every single time. And you know, I think I know what makes this so difficult. It's you're dealing with like a 3-dimensional-ish like sprite in a 2D game with no perception. So you can't really gauge it, and it's really, really annoying. So yeah, that's Metropolis Zone, but we're not done just yet. But man, I would die there so much as a kid. It was unbelievable. I would get all the way to this point right here and just fucking whiff it. I didn't see this till I was probably like 13. I saw my mom do it, but I never like did it myself. I'd always be like, Bob, how do you get to the level where your tails fly out of the airplane? And I just want to point out, these enemies look like they're fucking out of like the Sega Master System. They don't look right. But this is basically just an auto-scrolling level. Like, look at these fucking guys. They just don't look like Sonic enemies. They literally look like Master System sprites. They just don't look quite right. But this is a pretty chill level. It's only 2 minutes and 7 seconds. You're probably like, really, you know? Yeah, it's because that's how long the level timer is every single time. There's no checkpoint either, so you gotta do it all in one go. It's not hard. I don't recommend staying that close to the screen if you don't know the level yet. But yeah, this is just a really relaxing, kind of basic, you know, level. Nothing too wild and crazy. I do get hit quite a few times doing this. I don't think I've ever gotten a fucking 1-up in this level in my life. I don't even think there's enough rings in it to get a 1-up. Well, there probably is, I just suck at it. But, you know, it's kind of cool that you get to do this. In lore, I think, like... I'm pretty sure... excuse me, sorry. I'm pretty sure the airplane is actually Sonic's, I'm pretty sure, and Tails fixed it? I don't know. I'm not going to try and go in the story of Sonic, because some psychopath's going to correct me instantly. But, no, this is a really cool level. I always like it. It's just kind of fun. It's hard to explain how it controls, but you're never going to fall off the airplane if that's what you're trying to guess. But it does make going down a little bit difficult. And yep, I got hit right there like a dummy. It is not fun. I have no idea what hit me there, by the way. I just took damage as far as I'm concerned. And I think I get hit one more time, too. I swear to God I get hit one more time. Huh, I guess not. Wow, 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 wow. This is the best level in the game. Listen to that music. It sounds like Wolf 3D. It really does. I can't explain. It's like the... But I'm going to show you guys how to get all the pussy and do this level easy mode, okay? Make sure you pick up that shield. Now this, this is so gross. You have no idea. So... if you screw up and you go too fast, you'll fall off these bars. If you go too far to the left, you won't make the jump. Too far to the right, you'll overshoot it. This is so hard to get down. I think you can bang your head on those platforms too. I'm not quite sure. I don't want to find out. I don't think I care to find out either. So when I was a kid, this used to give me the shits. I would lose all my fucking lives right here. I would have 0 by the end of this. So, oh no, Seth took dumb damage. Oh wait, no he didn't. He just skipped a fucking quarter of the level doing that. So you gotta time your jumps real careful here. Because you're playing Shinobi 2 at this point. Now, I fucking hate this part. I should have waited to cycle that one, but... So the trick here is right about here. Go forward. Do not fucking jump on that. It'll fling you right off. I think I do that actually right here too. Yeah, isn't that fucking great game design? I'm pretty sure I do it again? Yeah. It's not like I'm doing that on purpose either. It's just genuinely that easy to fuck up. So what you have to do is you have to have the right amount of momentum. So you gotta spin dash, preferably, and then you'll go all the way across. Don't do it again or you'll fall in the hole. Really, really aggravating. So, yeah, I've never liked this level, like, at all. Even though I know what to do, it doesn't make it any easier. Every time I play it, I feel like I fuck it up every time I play this level. It's not very big either, especially if you know how to, like, do that little, like, fan glitch like I just did. But yeah, when I was a kid, I didn't know this. This shit took me forever to figure out, because look at that, you can, like, hug up against the wall, and then you go, oh, and then you can go through it. It's complete bullshit. I hated that as a kid. I think I ran the timer out at least once doing that, and oh god, here comes my... I know I die one time in this boss fight for sure. I hate this. This is the most aggravating part of the level. So... what you're supposed to do is not get hit. What I'm doing right now is getting the shit beat out of me. And it's gonna happen again in like 2 seconds, I'm pretty sure. I think that thing only has 7 hits. Normally every boss fight's 8 hits. I just get so fucking anxious in this fight every time and I whiff it. So what ends up happening is right about here I think is where I get killed. I get those little platforms out of sync. I don't know where the hitbox is for the top spikes, and they just hit me, and I take damage, and I scream. It's just... I do not like this boss fight, Sam I Am. I don't like green eggs and ham. You can get it synced up pretty well, but as soon as you see I panicked right there, I'm like, ah, shit. Like, and then... Alright, where is it? Yep. I don't know the hitboxes. I swear to God, you have to be, like, just barely above it, and it won't hit you. It's so fucking finicky. I have never liked this boss fight. When I was a kid, I think I died and got a game over here at least every time for years. And I knew it was so close to the end of the game, too, is what pissed me off the most. So, the best thing I can recommend for this fight is just be patient. Don't be reckless and dumb and aggressive like I am. Because you can die super easy like that. So, you just want to be calm. Yeah, I think that is the only... I think I did only die twice there, and that was it. I'm like 99% certain. I did do this weekend, and it's Friday, so I did this on like Monday. So, I don't know, man. It's been a while. But I know I didn't die very many times in the whole game at this point. I think this is the last time I died, too. I don't remember if I died on Death Egg, honestly. Because that... Oh, by the way, I don't use any save states either. This is a game I don't need save states for, because I've played it so many times. And you can see that's the other thing I try to do. I always try to keep one of the rings in the arena, and I still screwed up. And, like, you can see what I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to jump into the fucking, like, top part of it, but I keep clipping into that fucking bottom spike. And I just give up doing it after a while, because I'm like, you know what, screw it. You guys know what I'm trying to do. You get the idea. And it's just so easy to get hit. It is... Oh, I guess I do die there. Wow. It is just so easy to screw this up. And what makes it so hard? I don't know. You know, I've played this game forever, and I still have no honest-to-God earthly example as to what makes this so specifically difficult. Like, this is harder than the final boss, and I can't tell you why. It's just because the hitboxes on those top spikes. And you can be like, oh, well, it can't be that bad. You play it. You play it, you experience it, you understand exactly what it is when I get hit by it. And then you go, oh, understandable. Seth isn't a complete idiot. Great. I didn't say the ending of this game was perfect. I just said I've done it a lot. Doesn't mean I'm good at it. This is just so bogus, man. I hate it. I really do, and I'm glad it's over. So, ugh. Sorry for the deaths there, but that is just not a fun part. And there's a 1-up right there. Pretty clever, I always thought. And then we go to the moon. This is one of the greatest cinema things ever in a game. I'll take a drink in preparation. Yup. Yep, Sonic can just survive the vacuum of space. This is definitely Chris Chan logic, it really is. You can also tell it's a great game because it ends in space. So yeah, there's no rings here, by the way. So, how do you beat Metal Sonic? You do this. So what I did there, I didn't know until I was like 14 years old. And if you do it this way, I think I get killed here. I'm pretty sure I screw up this jump, right? No? I guess not. I think I die in the very next part, but either way, that's how you kill Metal Sonic. He goes down like a bitch when you do it that way. And oh man, this is just trial and error. I know how to do it as an adult, but it's not fun. So, what's the trick here? Don't get hit. I think that should be pretty obvious. Don't get greedy. And just wait till you hear the sound effect of his like foot going. I think I'd die here, right? Yep. See that? That's how close you are to getting killed doing this. And that is the only death I'm pretty sure I have as well. And at this point, I'm just like, fucking really? Like, I'm so frustrated at the previous boss fight that I'm just like, whatever, I don't care anymore. But, dude, this is an absolute 1-up eater right here. Like, Metal Sonic is like the fucking, like, game ender as, like, a kid when you're, like, 2. I don't know how old I was when I got there, like 12, 13. It was just awful at the end. That's all you gotta know. But, so what's the secret to this? I'll show you. Now that we can examine it. You can actually screw up right there and go through his hand if you're not careful. If you hold too far to the right, you'll do it. You can also hit his back. I just don't know how to do it very well. But you can see what I'm doing here. So you let him go up. And then you run. Wait for that sound effect to clear, and then, like, you go up, or sorry, to the left. So this is where the pattern repeats. So after every cycle, he'll go down, and then you hit him up, and then you wait, and then wait till he steps forward, stops. You'll hear that thing go, like when he hits the ground, and then you hit him, and wait till the sound effect ends, and then do it right at the end of it. So, if you do, you can do 2 hits. I'm just not very good at doing it. And yeah, in case you couldn't tell, there's no rings in this level. You fuck up, you just die. It's why it's so irritating. So then, crunch, munch. Just think of it that way. You hear the crunch and then you munch, okay? That's the only way to do this fight, as far as I'm concerned, the safest way possible. Boom, like that. You see, it's not very hard. But it's like doing Jad and RuneScape, okay? It's the exact same thing, alright? Totally the same thing. It's all about sound cues and memorization and not panicking. Because if you're a kid, alright, in 1992, or 94 in my case, and you get to the end of this shit, this is legendary. Your heart's racing like crazy. This is insane for a kid. And I felt like such a boss when I beat this game the first time. And this didn't come easily. It took years to get good at doing this. This looks easy to you if you've never seen it, but until you've played it and you memorized it, That is way harder than you have any idea. So, yeah, that's Sonic 2. I'm gonna cut it here and say thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, you know, thank you for everyone who subbed and everyone who likes the videos and all that Jim Jam stuff. I don't ask you guys to do that. It's not my business. But I really couldn't do without you. And thanks for everyone sticking through this. I've had a really awful time recovering from this cold, so it's been a real disaster these past few weeks. But you know, thanks for watching, and I'll have some more Sega Genesis action coming at you next week. And of course, you know, always check out the other stuff I make. I enjoy, you know, pretty much everything I work on, so this is just a good ending, man. It's a good ending to a good game. It really is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.